Do they know yours? Let's talk about all the things you did. Like a married man asking for a kiss. You're a sickly heart with a real letter of shame. Never gonna change. Wearing a black gown instead of my white dress. I still get stains cause I'm cleaning my own mess. I can't believe I'm still spitting on teeth. Cause you get off to watching me bleed. You'll never look at me that way again. You'll never touch me that way again. I have a letter that's scarlet on the back of my head. It doesn't really act like a bullseye. It keeps everyone away instead. Talk real nice and spew out lies. Blame me for your appetite. You can run, but this time you can hide. You took everything away from me. Your fingerprints are at the scene. Now I'm what's left of your dirty deeds. I'm gonna watch. I have a letter that's scarlet on the back of my head. It doesn't really act like a bullseye. It keeps everyone away instead. I have one too many sins. I can't seem to win. I have a letter that's scarlet on the back of my head. I am not a lucky girl. I am your voodoo doll. I am not a lucky girl. I am your voodoo, voodoo. I am not a lucky girl. I am your voodoo doll. I am not a lucky girl. You have a letter that's scarlet on the back of your head. It doesn't really act like a bullseye. It keeps everyone away instead. You have one too many sins. I am never gonna let you in. You have a letter that's scarlet on the back of your head. I am not a lucky girl. I am your voodoo doll. I am not a lucky girl. I am your voodoo, voodoo.
Hi, and welcome. I guess we're the Queen City Chronicles tonight. Hey, the orange jacket's on. I inveigled Ross Terrio to come over, and he thinks he's going to be talking about the school board and redistricting and stuff like that. Who cares about that, Michigas? The Yankees are playing the Red Sox. Now, Ross, let's get some two shots here. I'm ugly enough, not or fat enough. Oh, here's a good shot. Elizabeth Morrow might be joining us, so let's get the...
yeah, she was supposed to show up tonight. So what was this?
You're from... Hey! You're from Massachusetts.
I am. I'm a
Don't tell me you're...
And
I don't approve
step
of words
recovery.
like that.
That's what people from Russ, New England refer to people from Mass as.
Maybe since I got back. We used to have more colorful names for you. We dropped the M. Now, you can't be a Yankees fan. You have to be a Red Sox fan.
Red Sox. Yeah, I grew up. My parents are from Dorchester.
Dorchester, huh?
Yeah, both of them from Dorchester.
Did you grow up with Marky Mark?
No, I know people that are friends with him, but yeah, no, I didn't grow up with him.
I don't know how old you are, but you
52.
look like in good shape. You didn't dream about being an underwear model, anything like that, when you were in
maybe
Dorchester.
when I was younger, but yeah, no, I grew up in the suburbs of Boston. Yeah, I'm definitely
Suburbs of Boston. You call Dorchester a suburb?
No. My parents are from Dorchester, and they moved to Randolph.
Oh, Randolph.
And they didn't even know each other when they lived in they lived a few miles away from each other. They didn't know each other. their families moved to Randolph, and then they met.
So they missed out on the gentrification, which came many years
Yeah, they left.
later.
They left Dorchester in the '50s when things were probably getting bad. The city was probably decaying.
Now, is Dorchester getting gentrified?
Yes, it's. I'll give you an example. My brother was living there a few years ago. There was a Chinese doctor had bought a 3-family. She had turned the whole 3-family into a rooming house.
A triple-decker.
Triple-decker,
Yeah.
yep. And she was probably renting a room out like $800, 4 or 5 people per floor. So she's making, you figure $3,200, $4,000. She's making over $10,000 a month in rent off of a 3-family.
Oh, but now I hear they're taking the triple-deckers and making them into condos and
Oh yeah.
rebuilding them. And
That's what happened. That's the cycle of a city. So my family used to live there. It was working class, and then it for decades it was bad. It was poor. There was crime, and then people realized, wait a minute, we have all these beautiful houses near Boston. We can buy them for cheap. I'll buy them. I'll fix them up, and so you have the gentrification going on.
Yeah.
But then you push out the
Working
the poor people and the old time residents that live there. Then they get forced out and they have to find something else.
Yeah, I moved after the Army to San Francisco because my honey was at Berkeley, UC Berkeley, and was still attached. So
A tale of unrequited love, or
no, but we won't get into that. And
No, please do.
unless she's listening and throws brickbats at
You still talk to her?
brickbats at me. Oh yeah, but
friends on Facebook?
more than that. But
Ooh.
so I go to San Francisco. I only lasted 9 months there. I figure like Cambridge. I wouldn't even, I might pass as a Cambridge liberal, but San Francisco, my God, it was like another world,
You know what's
And
weird? So while you're on San Francisco, I was there about 20 years ago. And
Yeah, I was there in
obviously it's a
89.
very liberal
Yeah,
area,
yeah.
but the city is really grungy and crappy.
Well,
I was walking around San Francisco, it was
Right.
about in the late 90s, and I couldn't believe it, how
Oh yeah,
poorly lit it was, how dirty it was, the number of homeless people. It was just not a nice city. You think of this quaint, touristy city, and I'm sure there are
Yeah.
areas that are nice, but where I was, it was just horrible.
yeah. I went there. I lasted 9 months. I was 9 months down at La Playa, the beach. In California at the time, unlike the East, the beach bums lived there, low income people. And it was one of my roommates from the Army, and it's unlike Oscar and Felix, 2 men that
Yeah.
really can't live together. And it was just such a bizarre place. But there were working class neighborhoods, working class bars. Yeah, you could go to a bar and there was parts where there were a lot like Boston, Irish, Italians, and that.
Not no
But
more.
Now it's just
It's all wealthy.
completely everybody's being wiped out.
You know what? It's like Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. You have these extremely wealthy people that either rent apartments or own.
Sorry, Russ. I was thinking of Stormy Daniels for a
Oh.
bit, and something went through my head. But we're not on the Matt
Or
Connerton
you have
show.
homeless people who are, you know what I mean? There's really
Yeah.
no in between. But the other thing I want to say about San Francisco, I just talked to 2 different people that came back from
Recently.
the area recently. They said the car break-ins are out of control out there. You cannot leave anything in your car of any value because and the police don't even care. Just they smash your windows and steal everything on it. It's just out of control.
It's not that they don't
car
care;
break-ins.
it's that they just can't.
The numbers
handle
Yeah,
it.
it's amazing. You don't really see that around Manchester, even in Boston. I'm in Boston all the time. I've never had my car broken
New
into.
York was like that in the 80s. But see, it's also a policing philosophy, and once again, San Francisco is beyond liberal. Now California is going to pass a law to criminalize cop behavior, the use of force.
Did you see?
beyond the pale?
Let me get your opinion on something. They recently just passed, and this is insane to
Dallas?
me, in California, and it decriminalized if you knowingly give the HIV virus. So say you're infected with the HIV virus, and you give it to another person. You don't warn them and say, hey, I have HIV, and you
Right.
share a needle with them or sexual relations. That used to be a crime
Right.
to knowingly do it, and now they've decriminalized that. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, gays are you big lobby, and they.
Well, it's not
they
just
say
gay
that
people though.
it's
They have AIDS. I mean, it's anybody.
destigmatized.
IV.
Well, they would claim that it would be stigmatized. Hey, can we get more 2 shots? This intercutting's giving me a vertigo.
I'm gonna have a epileptic seizure.
Well, I almost had vertigo today, but
I have vertigo. Oh, I hate that. Do you have vertigo?
well, I was falling.
You've fallen and you couldn't get up. You need your.
Oh, I got up. The last one, let's not get into that. But no, the gay community considers laws like that stigmatizing towards the gay community. Whether I would not vote to lift that. What can I say? I don't live in California. I wanted to go back, but it was impossible for a middle-class person to live there because of the tax burden. You see, the middle-class people there are grandfathered in. First off, you had, was it Prop 2.5 or Prop 2.5 was Mass. California was 13.
No, it was back in the 70s. They had some.
2.5
They
was
started
max.
this thing where they restricted how much you could raise. It was a tax
Property
cap.
tax,
Yeah.
Prop 13. And it was
Prop
2.5
2.5.
in Mass.
I thought it was. I remember back in the late 70s, Howard Jarvis or.
Right. And so that allowed people to continue to live as property prices go up. But then they passed because it's a state with propositions, so you can amend the Constitution so that they could pass the property on to their kids.
And New Hampshire's not. So you can get enough signatures. You can put almost anything on the ballot out there. New Hampshire's not that type of state.
Oh yeah,
so
it's fun at first, but then it became its own industry. You know, yeah, there's limits to everything.
Let me ask you a question. And
And
you're a
eventually I'm gonna
Democrat.
get back to
Why
my,
does it seem that certain Democratic blue states have problems with like pensions and government spending? And I'm thinking
Prop 13.
Okay, so you're right.
Yeah,
So,
1978.
but think of California and Illinois. They've got a pension problem and a government spending problem,
Sure.
and they just don't seem to want to face it. I mean, true, not
They
is
are
it fake
fa-
news?
They are facing it.
How? Raising taxes?
Yeah. Like I said, I wanted to go back to California, but I figured I was only going to get a job of like 50 grand. They had a 6% tax, income tax. That was up from 4%. Then there was a 4% surcharge. God knows what that's about.
But you have a sales tax. The cost of living is sky high. It's not.
Yeah.
California's not what it used to be. I had two brothers that lived in San Diego.
Oh, San Diego's
And
beautiful.
I remember going to San Diego back in the early 80s. It was beautiful. And I went
Well,
there.
it's still beautiful.
I went there about 20 years ago, so late 90s. It's overdeveloped. There's just houses
Oh, yeah.
everywhere. There's like no open spaces. And from LA to San Diego, it was just all developed.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah,
I could be wrong.
but but Massachusetts just passed the laws. They're rolling back those laws that were passed in the 90s, you know?
What laws are those?
Get tough on crime.
Well,
Bail. Well, they're going after bail now.
I don't know if I mentioned this last show, but I probably did. Oh, I probably did when Elizabeth was here. I was sure, not so bad today, but last time I came here, there were homeless people like every 50
Oh, yeah.
feet, 100 feet on the sidewalk. But now,
I had
It-
the article here is about.
yes, and that's a woman.
Yeah.
So,
But it's interesting.
so what do you think about this? You can't
You
call
keep
it.
asking me what I think about things.
It's not ethnic cleansing, but it's. I'm kind of shocked
So,
that we're going to be getting rid of all the homeless
Oh,
camps in Massachusetts. I'm
Oh,
not
Massachusetts.
No, I'm sorry, Manchester. So you got the one behind Mom's. You've got a couple down near the river. They mapped them out, I think, in there. But so
Yes,
they're
and they're
bulldozing
blaming
them.
Joyce Craig for everything because Ted Gadsden didn't do a damn thing about homelessness. And
Well,
so
he
now,
he had the homeless vote in his pocket, so.
yeah, they bust them in from California.
Is Joyce mad because the homeless didn't vote for her?
How do I know? But you know, the union leader is just so, and you know, they will tilt an article. It's all Joyce Craig's fault.
Well-
I'm sure these are probably Democratic repeat voters that are just gussied up. You know, they're waiting for 2018 and 2020.
But
You know, she's a master of Joyce Craig, the master of deception. She's probably one of these CIA or FBI people that you Republicans hate so much.
No,
Did you ever think you'd live to see a world where the Republicans loved Russia, subversive Russia, and hated the FBI and CIA? I mean, that's all the stuff the Republicans always said about the Democrats.
It's the world turned upside down. But I didn't know about all these homeless camps. I knew we have homeless people that live in somewhere.
Oh, I went out,
But
to
they're
try-
out of sight, and I didn't. You know, they put them in the article, and now they're going to knock all the.
I don't mean to say how did you not know about them, because your purview
can't see 'em.
is your purview is school board. But I used to. I went.
There's the map right there.
Yeah, I went to try to help some homeless veterans, but it's so impossible. There's so many of them from out of state, and they're dealing drugs and stuff.
So these
Or they're on
out-of-state
drugs.
homeless people are dealing drugs in Manchester? That's the reason to get rid
I'm
of them?
not saying. You're taking this. Is this the meme that the Manchester City Republicans are passing?
No,
along?
I'm just regurgitating what John Hopwood's saying.
No, you're not.
You just said that the homeless people are selling drugs.
I said I went out and I wanted to help homeless veterans.
Yeah. But you said it was hard because so many of the
Well, I
homeless
didn't.
are-
I couldn't laugh because I couldn't deal with stuff like that.
You couldn't deal with drugs.
I can't say that every homeless person is on drugs, but a lot of veterans certainly are homeless. And I'm more conversant with homelessness in California, like Los Angeles, because that is out in the open. Because of ACLU, you have a right to pitch a tent in Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles. Now, if you're in Beverly Hills, no. And there's all sorts of places inside Los Angeles that don't belong to Los Angeles. But so, oh my God, they got a skid row. It's like
Well, I watched a
vision of
YouTube video.
hell.
Somebody was driving through California and just block after block after block.
down in L.A.
Probably
Yeah,
LA. I
downtown
forget where it
LA.
was. Just a city
In
block
tents.
of people living in tents and tarps.
Right.
Thousands and thousands of people just living on the side of the street. I guess the weather's warm there, so it's more hospitable to homeless people. Here, if you stay out, you're going to freeze, and it's just going to be a hard life.
Yeah, if homelessness.
There, but for the
Hey,
grace of God,
there
go
must
I.
be homeless children in the schools. Don't you ever guys talk about
Oh
that?
yeah, well Glenn Willett does all the time. The people's mayor, Glenn Willett, says there's 600 or 700 of them in the school system. But the definition,
What is homeless
the definition of homeless is a
transient
sliding
homeless
scale.
and
You know,
homeless
we
camps,
probably
you know.
don't have a whole lot of people who are living under a bridge homeless, but people, if you're couch
Right, because
surfing
of the
or
climate.
if you're because of the economy, if you don't have a place of your own, but you're living with relatives or couch surfing with friends, that's homeless also. Although you have a roof over your head. Here's the other
Right.
thing that I've heard in that
Now let's just say this is the result. Tim Baines, the new alderman.
yeah.
He's from 2, right? Or is it 3?
He took over Pat Long's old.
3.
No, 3.
Yeah. He had
A break-in, during, a theft from his house.
at the Palace Theater. They had a business and community for Ward 3, and then downtown business.
Yeah.
A town hall where Joyce was at and he was at, that where they got feedback. And one of the biggest issues, according to Manchester Inkling, because I read Carol Robideau's site.
I like Carol.
Yeah, and you get it quicker. And they've talked. One of the big issues they talked about, and she was on the morning show with Peter White and the Moose, and she talked about that was one of the big issues that business people were saying, and I guess people in Ward 3, that the homeless people that
Scare away business.
They figured it's a big problem. Now, see, the thing about Manchester, New Hampshire, that blows my mind when I got here, is coming here from other places, is nobody talks about anything here. Nobody talks about anything. Problems, we pretend that problems.
You've got your orange power suit.
Oh, we're supposed to be
your
talking about base. How did you
power
get me off of
tie,
baseball?
And you're talking about the issues. You and the people's mayor are the dream team.
Oh, jeez, you know. Did you work intelligence?
Well,
then you get the meme that Joyce Craig is.
I
bulldozing
didn't
the
say
homeless.
that. I have no idea what she's doing.
But people are starting to talk about this. I have no idea what was done with homeless people in the old days, because there's so much that we don't
let me
learn
run this
about.
by you. So every Sunday morning, I go over to the McDonald's in South Willow.
Right, the one. Yeah.
South Willow, right at the corner of Beach and South Willow,
Right.
South Beach.
Yeah, the one that they just.
It must be killing their business, but I see a bunch
That
of
was on the
homeless
first-
people sleeping in the thing. They'll buy like a ginger ale or something.
You mean they're sleeping in the McDonald's?
Yeah, they'll buy. All they'll do is they'll buy a soft drink for like $1. They'll go into the, how you have those, it's supposed to be for like a
Yeah.
family. It's like 2 picnic benches. They'll just spread out their stuff out because they must have free Wi-Fi too. They've got their cell phones.
Yeah, they do have free Wi-Fi.
They'll put their backpack down and they'll just be sleeping, and you'll have a whole bunch of basically it's a picnic table with a long bench. They like those because they can
Oh, I
spread
haven't
out.
been in there since they redid
Go
it.
go there in the mornings. Sunday mornings definitely, but maybe Saturday morning. I'll buy you an egg McMuffin on me. 'Cause I'm a
Calorie counting.
because I'm a guy. No, I'm a generous guy. So I'll buy you an egg McMuffin some
I'd
weekend
rather have the
morning.
beer after the show.
I'll buy you a beer too. Some weekend morning, go there with me. Sunday, I go every Sunday morning. My constituents can meet me there, and I'll go.
Is that part of your ward?
No, it's right on the edge of it. I'm in 7.
That's
That's
right.
like 9,
Right.
but it's right on the. It's like a few blocks outside of
Yeah,
my ward.
it's-
But every Sunday morning I go there. There'll be 3 or 4 homeless people just This guy was spread. He was just. it almost looked
Welcome
like he
to
was
New
dead.
York City when I lived there in the
But
80s.
I'm surprised that
Welcome
McDonald's
to Los
allows it.
Angeles, San Francisco.
And there'll be people in there with
McDonald's.
nothing. They don't even have. They didn't even buy a drink. They'll just go in there and on their phone
Oh, so
sleeping.
that I did go in there recently, and you can't use the toilet unless you buy
because a
something.
woman overdosed in the bathroom. She
No
shot up
kidding.
heroin in the bathroom. And then last year, I don't know if there was a gunfight. There was some type of big fight there late at night. So that store has some problems going on. But I think management needs to clean it up a little bit.
Well,
I still go.
And I go to the Market Basket.
There's
I go to the one in Bedford though, because the one downtown, you'd go in to get. They have the best donuts at Market Basket. Geez, I would weigh like 110 pounds, but for Market Basket donuts.
But for the grace of God, go
Jeez,
on.
so what? And then they're always gone. Then you're walking by and there's 2 choice ones. Oh, I gotta have them, right? Talk about heroin. That's
So what's the
mine.
matter with the Market Basket downtown?
But you go to it, and I would go in like have a coffee, and there would be street people, homeless.
Bums is in
What we would
colloquial
call them
term.
when I was a kid, hobos or bums.
Bums.
When I was in Boston in the 70s, and they were elderly men, winos,
Yeah.
and you could smell it, and you realize something's wrong here. But of course, I've lived in places like San Francisco. To be able to live in San Francisco itself, you'd have to live in these crappy neighborhoods that are all gentrified now. And you'd have to step over, a nodding drug addict.
Yeah.
They'd be just stretched out.
The one thing that drives me crazy about the
But that was San Francisco in the late 80s and 90s.
So I shop in Market Basket too. But sometimes I go to Hannaford's because I live right near there. But I like the prices at Market Basket better. The one thing that drives me crazy, and I brought this up to management, is the homeless people will go in there, and they have a ready-made food section. Chicken, sandwiches, and this drives me crazy. And I complain about it every time I see it. I'll go to the manager and say, hey, they'll grab food. And they'll walk around the store and they'll eat it. It could be chicken or it could be a sandwich.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, they'll steal it and then they'll stick it in the aisle. They'll eat half the sandwich and they'll put it in with the bread section. They'll go and say, hey, somebody's eating. They're obviously not paying for it because they went over to the fast food section and they're walking around the store eating it.
Well, if the
But if
Ted Gatzis trims me, that's a good tip.
Yeah,
I'll get along.
for your hot meal. But if you read the police blotter from time to time, you'll see people being arrested at Market Basket because they're for stealing.
These are issues that other cities have dealt with, and Manchester's just not used to it. When I got here, I actually talked to some people, and I predicted what would happen.
What's that?
Because you would see it happen in New York. Well, one of the things about New York, when you lived in New York in the 70s, like around Albany, and then in the city, 70s and 80s, there's a lot of money to be made off of, let's say, social services. Let's put it this way: you have a contract to supply mattresses to. Well, at the time, they had single room only hotels. I actually lived
It's a
in
rooming
one.
house.
Well, they call them SROs. They're technically a hotel. And you buy it from some place like the Dominican Republic for $10, and you sell it for $100 or more. I mean, there is a lot of opportunities, economic opportunities to be made in the social services sector. Now, when you're in New York, you have the once vibrant press. There's hardly any newspapers left. They're always digging into this stuff. Everybody's going to shout, "Oh, how dare you say this? You're against people trying to help people. You're a racist, both, or you're just a variation of the word you had from Massachusetts people."
A asshole.
But you could see just by the critical mass of I got here in 2010. What was about to happen? People say, "Oh, that you're a asshole, and you blah 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 blah." You know, it doesn't make me feel better that I predicted this, and it was on the. You know, I didn't do it in public or anything because you don't talk about stuff like that.
Why can't you predict like who's going to win the World Series or who the
the
lottery number?
I have.
And you should bet big on it.
Yes, and that's why
That's why you have to wear the.
I wear my army shoes and pants that need to be hemmed. Something it's just when you live in cities with problems that aren't covered up. Because you have a press that writes about everything, and people have to deal with it, and it's painful to deal. You were in Massachusetts. Boston had to deal with so much, I mean, who'd think Boston in the late 70s would ever have come back to what it was?
Oh, yeah, it was a hole.
And people call it the Economist, the English news magazine, most distinguished magazine in the world, says it's the seventh most economically dynamic economy in the world. Boston itself, which means the Boston area, and I'm sure we're part of that too. But who'd have think you could
over
come
half
back
the
from
people
it?
it's what a large percentage of the people in New Hampshire travel to Mass to work.
Oh yeah, without Massachusetts, we'd be Arkansas, Geez, we'd have our own Bill Clinton. We didn't have to import one from.
Yeah, I don't think the intermarriage of families is prevalent in New Hampshire, or West Virginia. But
oh yeah.
But I don't think we have that here up in New Hampshire.
Geez, if I'm thinking of a new career, a genealogist in a place like West Virginia or Kentucky, my God, But see, these are issues that people have to talk about. But knowing our wonderful politicians in the Board of Aldermen and the wonderful union leader, it will never be talked about or discussed in a straight way. My God, this city is just crazy. One thing when I was out campaigning
for yourself
in
or
the
for
last
somebody else?
couple of elections, well, I was back in 2016.
You were running, right?
And then I was out. I didn't do anybody in 2016, so it's 2016. I didn't campaign for anybody in 2017.
Campaign manager? Is that true?
No. I think that was Joe Kelly Lavassa, which will get a threat of a lawsuit.
Okay. We talked about your legal problems, or is that off?
That's completely off limits.
Limits?
Honestly. But now you've thrown me off, you wily Republican devil.
Wily coyote.
In 2016, what people were talking to me about, I don't think it was 2015, because I was 2015. I started out supporting Patrick Arnold. Then I switched over to Joyce.
I like Patrick.
And I remember knocking on doors for her. And in 2016, I was out praying that there's some anti-Hillary people would lynch me when I was putting the Carol Shea Porter stuff up.
Hillary is not a nice person.
We're not. That was you talked about that two weeks ago.
My
point
camera,
is,
though.
one of the things people ask me is, where is the money we're spending on drug rehab going? They kept asking me about that. The things everybody wants to know about is crime. Everybody talks about taxes. Nobody talks about issues like, during any type of campaign, they're always beating their chest, say, "Oh, everybody's talking about this or that," and they're really not.
Well, to quote
taxes,
the Irish writer Brendan
crime,
Behan, everybody or an old Scottish proverb.
You're thinking Mark Twain.
No, it's an old Scottish
About the
proverb.
weather?
Everybody talks about my drinking, but nobody mentions my thirst.
That is Brendan Behan. I thought you meant Mark Twain. Everybody talks about the weather, but nobody does anything about it. But this city had, when I got here, there's an utter lack of transparency in Manchester. And in the state of New Hampshire, too.
So I'm not original. I've lived in Manchester now for 21 years. So I'm still kind of a carpetbagger, I guess, a newbie.
We got Maura Sullivan running in CD1.
Oh, that's insane.
She's been here for 6 weeks? And she's outraised Chris Pappas, who is like.
Well, Chris is a juggernaut.
But she's outraised him and got Emily's.
Yeah, but she's 80% of her donations are from out of state.
Well, it's more than that. Yeah. But that's another issue.
But
you can come back
Manchester, as I've described it before, Manchester is a big little city. You know what I mean? It's like a town. It's like an overgrown town. There's 110,000 people. But what I've noticed coming in, because I'm kind of an outsider, is all of the people who are in power, like in the police or in the school system, a lot in the school system or in the politics, they all know each other, they're related, they're friends.
Related,
It's,
right.
you know, like, and I don't want to say names, and it's not a bad thing, but there's so much.
Incest?
No, it's not. Political incest.
Well, we were talking about West
everybody
Virginia.
knows, like for instance, I know a state rep who in one party who was running for office, and one of his relatives is a high-ranking politician, but is a Democrat.
Right.
You know, it's his aunt. It's just funny. It's just a little town, and the people who run is a small group of people who kind of run everything.
Well, I was told by...
But that being said, I really enjoy Manchester. It's got its problems, but it's a great little city.
I remember I was talking to Mike Lopez, who's all
like
at large.
Mike. Good guy.
Who I remember as a kid, and then I was gone. And then when I met him again, we were both bald. And that's how many years had passed. And he was saying about what the dynamics of the city. Inside every ward, there's only like 500 people that are going to, I don't know if it's the word he used, demand something, that have to be dealt with, or that expect something. The rest of the people, and let's say how many is in each ward? Well, over 10,000, or not,
Yeah, about 10, a little bit under 10. It's like 90 through 200 per ward.
5% of the people in the ward are going to be somebody that actually want the government to do something, expect the government to do, and are involved. And all of them, those are their primary constituents. So it's very inside the small town or small city that's a big town. There's even a smaller town. But it's truly amazing that when you go back and look at everything, because I had to re-educate myself, everybody's been on a board with each other. Everybody's been in the state legislature with each other. Everybody of either party knows each other going way back, because there's so little turnover unless somebody just decides that, I'm not going to run again. Like a Jim Roy, because of his back,
I
decides
heard
to
he's going
retire.
to run again, though, next time for Alderman. I heard he's going to run again in the future.
Or, but let's, Jim retired,
Yes.
and because I heard because of his back, because he was a firefighter.
Well, he had a hip replacement, I thought.
Oh, something like, it was some type of injury or something because of his being a firefighter. Or people just hang on forever. It's just, talk about the night of the living dead or something.
Now, where are you from originally?
Manchester, New Hampshire.
You were born here?
Born in Goffstown, New Hampshire.
Oh, Goffstown. That's a farming community way out there.
I was born in Goffstown.
Wait a minute. They don't even have a hospital. You were born at home?
Yes, I was. Yes, there was. It's gone now. Moore County. The county hospital. Moore General.
I never knew of that.
My birth was registered in Manchester when I joined the Army. They said, from now on, you're born in Manchester.
So you're born in Goffstown, but were your parents living in Manchester at the time?
From Manchester.
Okay, so where'd you grow up? West Side, East Side?
West Side.
So can you
Ward
speak?
10.
Can you speak French?
I used to, a little.
I mean, from what I've heard, up until the 1960s, almost everybody spoke French. On the West Side.
1960s?
Yeah.
Well, it depends if you're French.
Yeah.
There were Germans there. There were 4 Protestants. Keith Hirschman, he was a German Protestant, I think. No lawsuits, Keith. Yeah. In case you're, belong to, whatever, the church, or the tax-free Church of Gerard or something. Are they Protestant? I don't know.
Rich Gerard? He's Catholic.
Well, a tax-free Church of Gerard has nothing to do with Rich Gerard.
Tax-free Church of...
A Gerard.
Girard?
Right, the tax-free Church of Gerard.
What is that?
Well, here I invite this guy on, and thinking, he's the big political ad.
You invited
and
me
doesn't
on.
even know what the tax-free
You
Church of
invited me on.
Gerard
I always
is.
buy you a free beer after the show.
Which I'm not supposed to drink. Jeez,
I've never heard of such a thing. The tax-free church.
Well, you're obviously not a faithful viewer of Ward 13 or the old Matt Connerton Unleashed show. They used to be our proud sponsors.
When I was driving downtown today, I was listening to Matt's show on the radio.
With Glenn and him talking about something.
Didn't hear Glenn, but when I walked into City Hall, because I had a meeting at City Hall a little while ago, Glenn was there already. He is there almost all the time. He is the people's mayor.
Is he?
Yeah.
How many votes did he get this time?
Maybe 100.
Oh, I don't think he...
Pull it up on your computer.
I wanted to talk about the We started out trying to talk the Yankees, and then you tried to get the meme that Joyce Craig is bulldozing.
I didn't.
Jeez, why don't we? We'll prepare a thing with
First
Joyce
of all,
and a hard hat.
I know
and the
Joyce
bulldozer.
Craig. I've worked with Joyce Craig. Joyce Craig is a friend of mine.
I know Joyce Craig. You don't know Joyce Craig, John Hopwood. we
That's not Joyce Craig. I don't care. That is dirty politics. That is not Joyce Craig.
Besides our forehead
That's
showing,
fake news.
what is it called in Welsh? It'd be talison, radiant brow. Besides our radiant brows, well, mine because I'm bald. But what else? What does Joyce Craig and I have in common?
You're both Democrats?
I mean, something really.
You
in
both
common.
worship
something
at,
fundamental.
You both worship at the altar of Hillary Clinton.
I wouldn't say that. I don't know.
I would.
I don't know. We're both. But until she married Mike, her nickname was Hoppy.
Get out of town, really?
Joyce Hopkins.
What's her maiden name?
Hopkins.
Oh, okay. I never knew her maiden name. I know a bunch of people that went to Memorial with her. They all liked her.
Yeah, no Craig has ever won an election.
Really?
Well, because she's a Hopkins.
Until the last. Didn't her brother-in-law was appointed to the Business Commission or Economic Development?
That's
or
not
something?
an election.
I know, but he was appointed.
That's an election? Oh, so he's revealing finally the truth about Manchester. So to get on these stuff, you got to get elected, huh? Who elects you? Some small cabal? Real estate
people.
developers? Men of the cloth? Does the tax-free church or Gerard have a seat on that board?
I've never even heard of that church.
Do you know that under the city charter that the mayor is considered the head is a CEO, and they're considered the directors, just on the board of directors. That's under the new charter. Isn't that exciting?
No.
And everything else is controlled by RSA laws, like your school board.
Have you? What's his name? Gafalakis. You ever seen his show Between Two Ferns? You should do that. You should do
Between Two Ferns?
Oh, it's awesome.
Is he the guy that played the young gay guy married to Shirley MacLaine?
No, Zach is kind of a heavy-set Greek guy. He's got a beard. He's pretty funny.
Oh, all my life I wanted to meet, a young, now middle-aged, I'll take, Shirley MacLaine type.
She's very old now. She's got to be in her 70s, right?
She'll be 84 this year.
Wow.
She came here in 1972.
She was on the show?
No, Ross. This was just a business building back in 1972. There was no studio then. No cable access TV. No cable TV here in Manchester. I know that might be hard for your young people to believe.
Well,
How old are you?
I'm 52.
Jeez, you're an old fart, huh? Do you touch up your hair?
Not yet. I do have gel in it though, but if when I dry, there are some gray spots that are like little skunk tufts.
What's the story with Joe Kelly Lavasse's hair lately? It looks like some wild animals perched on inside top of his head.
I think that's the new style.
Is it the wild perched on your head animal look?
Well,
Yeah.
no, so I'm 52. How old are you? You're not that much older than me.
58.
Right? Okay, 6 years.
How do you like our background?
It's awesome.
City Hall as like.
I predict that this new background is going to increase your viewership by 100%.
Well, I'll tell you what. The spires on my City Hall here in my Queen City are much more formidable than the spires on our own City Hall.
Is that the Brady Sullivan Tower?
No, that's City Hall and
No, to the right.
I'm not at liberty to discuss that. This is a.
It looks out of place. Something doesn't look right.
Well, this isn't Manchester, Ross.
Oh, I thought it was.
It's a taste of Manchester. We people, former intelligence community operatives, we like to
Wait,
have
there's
our
a
fun.
gallows up there. Oh, is this supposed to be like some
No,
Middle Eastern
that's
city?
just yeah, bingo, gringo.
That's what it is. It's
Hey,
like
how come
Baghdad.
you fall? You're an insider.
No,
You're
gotta
a
be,
Republican. You
gotta
guys
be
have
out there.
controlled the city for how long? Ray Wazorek was 10 years. Ginta was 14, and Mayor Gatzis was 8. There's 22 years.
But you're forgetting about Baines.
So that's one more. Oh, he's in there somewhere.
He was, yeah, right.
Well, I remember
6
when
years. Wasn't he there for 6 years?
Oh, that's right. Because I remember with Zurich, I'd come to visit my mother. For some reason, I didn't remember Bob Baines,
Who is?
who taught in Litchfield. So shame on me.
Well, he's a principal at West at one time, I thought.
Well, Charlie Quinn was the principal when I was there. So okay, we'll just go
Funny
back.
story.
12 years.
One of my coworkers lives on the West Side, grew up on the West Side, went to West High School, and she got in trouble from the
Mean
principal.
trouble, the type
like
of trouble like when I was a
suspended
kid?
or in
Oh,
punished.
okay.
And
No pregnancy or anything.
no, I can't, So Bob Baines is running for mayor and came to her door. He goes, "I'm Bob Baines." She goes, "I know you." He goes, "Oh, how do you know?" He goes, "You suspended me as the principal." And he said, and I respect Bob for saying, he goes, "You probably deserved it." And she said, "Yes, I did."
But so that's 12 years. How come when they were gussying up City Hall with this bonded $1 million plus thing, they didn't fix the spires?
Oversight, I guess.
An oversight. How do you figure that happened?
I'm not in the loop.
You're on the school board.
Yes, sir.
You're in what Joe Levesque, I don't know why I keep bringing up that egg, calls, what do you call it, the small table, the play
Small,
pad?
the kids' table at
The
Thanksgiving
kids'
dinner.
table.
Yeah.
And how long have you been on it?
This is my third term.
Jeez,
So this will be my fifth year, and then obviously finish up with 6. And I used to be a state rep before that. 8 years ago, I was a state rep for 2 years.
lucky you, huh?
Yeah.
2010, the Tea Party.
Yeah. I was never in the Tea Party, but yeah, that wave.
Right,
swept me
if
up
you had a
and-
D, if you weren't John Lynch and there was a D next to your name,
Oh, you were
you
gone.
through.
You were gone. Poor Ray almost got knocked down, I believe, back then. Your buddy Ray Buckley, he was almost taken out.
Ray Buckley's not my buddy.
I heard he was a good friend of yours.
Where do you hear such scurrilous rumors?
Well, I would make an analogy to the
Do you s-
Bible. Remember the New Testament where it was it Paul or Peter denied Christ 3 times before the crow?
Do you see any Democrats on my show?
Yeah. James O'Connell was on the show.
Well, I had to go down and bring you in, and Jim was only supposed to be in for 10 minutes. 20 minutes later, I finally managed to get him off the show.
So I need a prediction
What
for
time
this
is
the
it?
election. We got
Jeez,
15
oh.
minutes. We have plenty of time.
I
plenty
guess
of time.
Elizabeth's not coming.
No. She probably had something better to do. Rearrange her sock drawer or something.
We never got to talk about you as a Red Sox fan.
No, hold on. So,
Oh,
what are
the
your
Colt
predictions?
was brought over here
is
in
this going to
Falls
be a
Creek then.
Democratic blue wave this year in 18?
How do I know?
You're a prognosticator.
I didn't say it was a good one. I thought W was going to be impeached back in 2000 after he invaded Iraq.
No,
Didn't happen.
you're wrong.
Didn't happen. What do you think? It's my show. What do you think? Mr. Turn the Tables.
I read. Do you read Real Clear Politics? It's a great website,
I read 538.
which is on Real Clear. So what Real Clear is? It's a website. But what I
Yeah,
like
I
about
used
it
to
is
read that one a lot.
You should.
Yeah.
They take all types of news, but especially the politics, from the left, the right, and the center. So you'll get
Yeah,
somebody
they do
from
the polls, the aggregate.
Yes, they have an aggregate of the polls. But what I like about it is, so it's not like Fox News or Huffington Post or MSNBC where you're going to have a one slanted view. They have all the views. So you're going to have an article, from who's the guy, the Reich,
Oh yeah, the guy who hates Bill and Hillary because Hillary threw him over for Bill.
No,
saying,
Robert Reich likes the Clintons. He was very
Robert?
he was like Secretary of.
that's so much horse manure. Robert Reich was dating her before Bill snatched
he's
her
like
away.
4 foot tall. He didn't date
Yeah,
Hillary
and
Clinton.
that's the thing. I love you, Bob, but I can't go through life with a.
He's
married to a
He
guy that's-
didn't date Hillary. Come on, I don't like Hillary Clinton, but I don't think he did. She,
What does
She's-
Oh man, are you running for office now? 'Cause
Yeah.
we're gonna zing you.
what?
So what does Robert Reich being 4 feet tall have to do
She's
with
like
that?
2 foot tall. She wasn't gonna date
How tall
him.
do you think she is?
5'4", 5'5".
She's about 5'2" or 3.
Okay.
So he's a brilliant guy, and she was dating him at Yale law,
I-
and Bill.
Moved in.
Yeah, and so that's why
Swept
he
her
has-
off her feet. Is
It
the
wouldn't
marriage
be
made in
well.
heaven?
Obviously, if they were going to get married, she'd have had to pick Bob up.
So I'm going to
and
repeat
take
this.
him
I
to
love
the
to
door.
repeat myself, so I'm going to tell the story again, even though I don't think I told it to you. I know a guy who worked in the first Clinton White House on health care.
You already told me that story.
But not on air, I don't think. So this needs...
Oh, who wants to hear background?
Oh,
Hey, what do you
okay,
got?
shut
What do
me
you got in your hand? You can come back another. You can borrow the time. You can go on with all your Republican brouhaha. Hey, what's that you got underneath your book?
This is
Secret meetings?
No, this
Minutes?
is the agenda for the school board meeting tonight, and this
Young
was passed out
Organizers
by Young
United.
Organizers United. This is a
Republican
No,
group,
this is a Leninist Marxist organization.
Koch brothers.
Which is no. It's a Soros organization, and it's trying to organize in our schools. And
Oh.
so they wanted to have a school board representative at our meetings, and that was the handout that they put together. Very involved, predominantly African students at the Central High School. who came in-
African or African American?
African. No, these I would say they're probably from East Africa, and
But they're Americans now.
I don't know their citizenship status, but
An American is a different thing than a United. You don't. They may not be U.S. citizens, but they're Americans if they're here. I've met them. I've met people that've been here forever and they aren't U.S. citizens. They just didn't bother.
anyways, they want
I
representation.
see some animus against.
They want some representation on the school board, so they came and talked and passed out this handout.
Oh, that must have incensed Rich Gerard.
He was there.
Oh,
I wouldn't say he was incensed. No, he actually.
After the Dinka speaking student and how there was a lawsuit filed against the school board because of the Dinka speaking student, an African who's called Dinka.
Yes, I know. What you're talking
And
about.
Gerard, if you read the lawsuit, Gerard was talking
Yeah, but you know
head.
what? I don't see how they could do anything about Rich. At the time, Rich wasn't on the school board. He was just he was like you. He was a public figure and a news media person.
I didn't say that he was sued.
Oh,
When you look at the lawsuit, he's mentioned as one of the people spouting what the lawsuit claimed was racist rhetoric. I was just saying, Okay, go on. So you're against embracing diversity.
and my wife is a person of color.
Is she? Where's she
She's
from?
South America, Brazil.
Why would that be a person of color?
Latino people are considered people of color, but her
Are they
father,
the ones I've met? Many Latinos that
her-
consider themselves white.
her father's side are people of African descent. My father-in-law.
Where's she from?
Brazil. Brazil.
Oh,
Trivia.
Brazil's half black. That's
Yeah.
right.
There's just a piece of some
So you
trivia.
mean Argentina?
They're outside of Africa. People don't know this. Outside of it, there are more black people of African descent in Brazil than any other country, even in America.
Right. They had slavery in the 1880s.
So they have the number of people of African descent or mixed race is just sky high down there. But her
Looks
father
like
was
Puerto Ricans are
yeah,
mixed
my,
race
my
people.
father-in-law was part black. So
He was part black. Is he
Yeah.
still with us?
no,
Okay.
he's been deceased for quite a while.
No. Yeah, because Puerto Ricans, I remember, you can be part Caribbean Indian, part African, part Spanish, part white.
Have you
which
been
is
to
ridiculous.
Brazil?
No, I'd love to go, but
should.
I don't have any money.
Well, come on, you're a Democrat. You must be living high on the hog.
Do you see Democrats on my show? I'm not that kind of. I'm an independent Democrat.
Is that like
I'm
white,
sure,
white Hispanic?
There are white Hispanics, dummy. Jesus. Manchester's changing. You can get a lot of trouble with all this bamboozlery.
Chicanery?
Chicanery, that's a great word too. Bamboozle.
Trumperty.
Let's not get into Trump.
No, there's there was a legal term or something like that. Trumperty. Google it.
I think that I don't know about the group, but they.
Oh.
Probably who's going to harass me tonight? Howdy, I refuse to take calls, but Ross is available.
Oh gosh.
Hi, this is Adol Mashoot. I just wanted to call in and say it's Young Organizers United. Those are the youth that actually are fighting for student representation.
What did
That's
I
all
call
I
it?
wanted to say.
Young Organizers, you called them some Leninist outfit.
No, I thought I said that.
So you George Soros, he's Jewish. Are you an anti-Semite?
No.
There is a show, 2 shows here that, oh my God. But, that's community TV. I think these are very good
Well, and
goals.
I support student representation on the board, as I spoke at the meeting tonight.
Is there going to be a student rep?
That
Oh,
is
he's still
great.
there?
I just want to give credit where credit is due.
Hey, if you want to
I'm
come
glad
on the
to see
show.
Where are you now? You can come on the show.
No, but if you want to come on the show
I would
sometime in
love
the
to come on the
future.
show.
Actually, we could have the whole group, bring everybody from you.
Nah, you don't. This isn't your show, buddy.
You can use all the help you can need.
Contact me on my Facebook page, John Hopwood. The one in Manchester. I think I got one from California, too. Yeah, come on.
To be on your show, and I would love to bring the youth and explain our campaign and how we have basically won it, and that we are the faces behind it,
You go.
and there's a reason why.
Okay, I completely I don't know
week?
about your organization, but I think your goals are not only commendable but necessary.
So next Tuesday, are you open free next Tuesday?
No, I have Anna Madsen's going to be on finally.
So who is Dave Scannell? Is he helping your group, or how can John get a hold of you?
Dave Scannell's bulldozing homeless people right now, so we can't get in contact with him.
How can John get a hold of you to get you on the show?
I got a Facebook page.
Nobody's going to go to your Facebook page.
I know. I only got like 10 people because.
How can John get a hold of you?
Young or
Through
Wait.
email. I can give you a phone also.
no, but don't say it over
I don't
the.
know.
I'll get
Yeah, I
in
don't wanna
contact
say
with
it
you.
over
Don't
here.
worry. This guy is Republican. He's into all sorts of skullduggery. Former Marine, like John Kelly. John Kelly's from Brighton. No wonder why he's a racist.
Can we give
the
I
John
can give you my
Kelly.
email.
here?
I don't think you want to give it over the TV.
Can she give it to the lady who runs the thing?
I will contact them. I'm sure I can get in contact.
Can you get her phone number off of the thing?
Ross,
I'm trying to help you.
keep your britches on. You are wearing britches.
Yes, I am.
Jeez, oh.
Yeah,
Do you have? Why don't you speak for how much? How much time do we have left? Speak for 3 minutes. Tell us what Young Organizers United's about.
Young Organizers United is about a group of young refugee and immigrant kids mainly, and we come together and we just work on issues that affect us and our community, and we try to really shape and implement things that are going to have success for everyone, really.
Yeah, one of my good friends was when I lived in California. Well, so many of my friends were immigrants and girlfriends. One of my good friends is from Liberia, another from Iran,
Well,
another
enough
from
about
Russia.
you. Why don't you ask her what some of the goals that they're working on?
What are some of the goals you're working on that Ross didn't mischaracterize, like burning down City Hall?
I didn't say that.
I think you did. I saw it in your eyes.
This has always been a
Just
mistake.
like W saw Putin's in his
Can I have my
eyes.
pen back?
No. I'm stealing it.
Our main thing, of course, is student representation on the school board. And tonight they actually passed a motion to bring it to the full board
Oh,
and
excellent.
discuss how this is going to happen. They're going to have a cohort group to create that, and I think that's due to our hard work of going in monthly and discussing this.
I was going to take credit for that because I spoke tonight at the meeting, so I think that the credit lies with me.
Don't trust him. He's an
I think
ex-Marine.
you supported us, and thank you. But
No, my pleasure. I was just kidding. I know you guys,
I know.
you folks do speak a lot.
No, I know people that do a lot of outreach with the immigrant community, so I'll be able to contact you. Thank you so much for calling in.
Wait a minute. So
No,
we would
only
invite
got a
you. We'd invite you to come to the
Buddy,
school board
we-
every meeting and speak for a few minutes every time.
We're going to get
always
her
welcome.
on, and you're
Okay.
welcome. You're
Okay.
welcome to come on because
But
you're
have her
not
call-
the
Have her call the lady at the thing with their contact information.
dude. I can find them.
No, you won't.
I was at the NSA
No,
for
I'll find
God's
you guys.
sake.
I think we'll connect.
Okay.
I'll be able to find you. Believe me.
Thank you for calling.
I'll
Thank
find
you.
you.
Yeah.
All right.
Now I'm gonna have to lasso this guy a bit. Oh, you got egg on your face now.
What?
Huh? Talking about George Soros. Hey, do you think George Soros is going to contribute to my campaign?
Yes.
I doubt
Actually,
it.
no. Let me.
Yeah, sure.
Let
he
me touch a
is.
raw nerve here.
Let's see.
Let me touch a run. No. Enough about
I
you.
expect the run on. I already got 100 signs from the last.
Let me touch on a raw nerve. I'm gonna
We only
encourage
got a
you.
couple minutes.
Is there like this little inner cabal in the Hampshire Democrats that if you're not a Papist or a Susie or a buddy of Ray Buckley, that you don't get any money or support in the Democratic Party when you run? Is that
Jeez,
true?
you think that's true in the Republican Party?
No, they don't help anybody. But is that true in the Democratic Party? That
Tammy, who I like, is still the head of the party.
Well, Manchester. She's Manchester.
She was, the criticism of her was, by certain quarters, it was uncalled for. Just because, whatever. No, I don't know. We have a wild card now in that Colin Van Ostern is not running for governor. He's running for Secretary of State. He's creating a political action committee that's going to give money to people that pledge to him.
Vote for him. So
right.
So there's going to be like a purity pledge that I swear to vote and to support Colin Van Ostern, right?
I don't know.
Are you going to take the pledge for the money?
In a vote between, I think Bill Gardner, it's time for him to retire.
Bill Gardner should.
No, Bill Gardner's too old.
No,
what he did with Trump is
Bill
ridiculous.
Gardner is awesome, and he should be there for life.
What absolute crap! Anybody
you can't say that on the air.
You can't have anybody.
He's going to fine you and arrest you.
Bill Gardner won't come on my show either.
He's too hot. A lot of people won't come on your show. Hillary Clinton won't come on your show.
I never asked.
George Soros won't come on your show.
I never asked.
Ray Buckley won't come on your show.
I bet I could get Ray Buckley on this show. I bet I could. I never asked him. But as it is now, I'd certainly vote for Colin Van Ostern. I'm not going to ask him for any money.
No, Peter Sullivan's running for. Why don't you vote for the local boy? Local boy.
Heard what you were about to say.
Peter Sullivan.
You were about to say the local nut.
No, I said local boy. No, I like Peter. Peter Sullivan is a local boy who's running for Secretary of State, and you should support the local candidate.
What does that have to do with the price?
Actually, isn't that Bill Gardner?
If you run for president, should I vote for you?
Yes.
Well, you'd be better than most anybody I can see coming down the pike.
Doesn't Bill live near here anymore?
What about Rocky?
Rocky who?
Rocky was a Latino candidate for president in all 50 states. Didn't you vote for him?
I never even heard of him.
Well, when next time you come to the show, I'm going to have a Rocky shirt for you because Bill Berry gave me one. That was his Christmas gift to me one year.
I've never heard of
Thank you, Bill Berry, for a Rocky.
What about Vermin Supreme?
I've been trying to get Vermin Supreme on the show. He is an
awesome.
eel. He's a snake.
Why?
He will only come on when it behooves him right in front of when it's time to blow his horn.
What about
I had him on a couple
Elizabeth
times.
Ropp running for Congress?
Why would Elizabeth Rupp run for Congress?
She mentioned it on her Facebook page.
Oh, she didn't.
She most certainly did.
I bet you $1,000 she didn't.
I bet you that you don't have a pot to piss in, but she most certainly did.
You're talking me using the word crap. Here you're besmirching the airways with your filth. Hey, let's run Emmanuel to clear the filth there. Hey, come back next week. You can see Anna Madsen.
No, don't come back.
Maybe we'll have a psychic on too, and we're gonna have Ross. We're gonna crucify him in 2 weeks from now. Pillory you. Hey, run it. Are you still there?
Oh, come thou day spring from